realize this episode isn't going to be for everyone, but luckily there's good news on that front. You don't have to watch it. There's literally hundreds of other episodes to choose from. And if you're one of the unlucky few who was being forced to watch this episode because you have a gun pointed at your head, well, I'm sorry. That definitely is a bummer. When reviewing a movie like the 2016 film Hillary's America, it's important to stick to facts and facts only without resorting to personal insults. Hillary's America is co-written and directed by Dinesh D'Souza, a forgotten Muppet who always looks like he's a bit too eager for his puppeteer to coat their hand in hot sauce and then shove it up his ass. Dinesh would like you to believe that he is simply just a neoconservative author and historian. But there's a more simple term for what he is, and that term is he's a troll. Really, that's it. He's not much more than a troll. And when he isn't too busy going after underage mass shooting survivors, sometimes he makes movies. He's the Armand White of political commentators, in that if he was actually genuine about half the shit he says, he'd have died 30 years ago due to poisoning from a consistent diet of eating nothing but soap and then trying to fuck a light socket. I mean that with all due respect. He has a habit of trying to Trojan horse alt-right propaganda onto audiences under the guise of, ooh, an Obama documentary. Ooh, I love America. I should see this. Ooh, a Hillary documentary. Or, ooh, is Trump killing our nation? I should see this. I am thankful for this movie, though, because without it, I'd have no idea that Hillary Clinton's something slave rape. Who the fuck released this film? Lionsgate, you're on notice! What? Quality flicks? Well, that's the first conspiracy theory of the movie. And before there's no turning back, let it be known that it's from D'Souza de Media. This movie sucks. Lest you forget, this is a true story. Not enough is written about the time a hologram Klansman leaped out of a movie screen in the Woodrow Wilson White House. Although no names were changed, Dinesh will still call himself a documentarian. Even at age 57, he still plays dress-up. I probably will too at age 57. The movie starts off with a song all about how happy days are here again for the Democratic Party, featuring a drummer with an expression that says, I'm getting a paycheck for this, I'm getting a paycheck for this. This movie has got us good. As Democrats, nothing makes us happier than the return of the Klan and slavery. It's what I pray about in my sleep every night. A little ironic that someone co-wrote this with the last name Schooley. Weren't you taught about the time Obama gave a speech in St. Louis and then set everything on fire? Dinesh isn't just a filmmaker, he's a man with a grudge.
It all began when the Obama administration tried to shut me up.
United States.
Actually, you broke campaign finance laws, and I guarantee you that you think more about Obama than he thinks about you.
The government wants to send Mr. D'Souza to a federal prison.
The claim of selective prosecution is all hat, no cattle.
Why is Dinesh's trial really badly acted? The judge even sentences him to therapeutic counseling, so I guess justice really was served, even though I don't think it worked. Dinesh lets us know that his imprisonment is revenge because his movie, 2016 Obama's America, did well. It did? What movie was that again? Was it a movie? I never saw it. Must have been really important. Dinesh reminds us of the evils of Obama. This was a long time ago, back when Dinesh hated Russia. If you use really dramatic music over footage of a person you don't like, plus throw in some blood on the screen, you can make them guilty of anything. I can't believe Obama shot those people. I shouldn't be mean. This grudge is all Dinesh has to live for.
If you make a film criticizing the most powerful man in the world, expect the Empire to strike back.
Fucking get over yourself. No one remembers your Obama documentary but you. Dinesh trying to claim he was a victim of political persecution is like Martha Stewart claiming she was taken down by Ronald McDonald. Dinesh walks into prison like it's a summer camp. All the best documentaries use day for night shooting. The hell kind of prison is this? They just openly hang out in the lobby and threaten to rape you. This prison is the most intense hospital cafeteria Dinesh has ever been in. Not even in prison will people let him sit at their table. Dinesh D'Souza is the product of growing up with no friends. Please, parents, teach your children to make friends. Actually, this is a quarantine area. Dinesh is here because he's stricken with a disease called stupid. But at least they can hang out in the supply closet to shave. Dinesh has a lot of time to think, so he decides not to.
There, the whole country is controlled by gangs. They own you. That's why I left India.
Dude, you're hanging out at a YMCA. Quit being so dramatic. And about that psychological counseling.
The Obama people believe I need to be re-educated.
In other words, he failed that test. Now he has to undergo the horror of teaching English to immigrants.
Now, I can come to Mexico, or you can come to India, but I can no more become Mexican.
They don't know what you're saying. I don't even know what you're saying. I can't believe he's allowed to interview all of these inmates while he's serving time.
What are you in here for?
A friend of mine was running for office, and I gave her more than I was allowed to give.
Well, that was a cute way to phrase that. Hey, Hannibal, what are you in jail for? I had an old friend over for dinner. Then they all laugh at him for being a putz.
I think I might be the stupidest criminal in the history of American jurisprudence.
Finally, something we can both agree on. They must have filmed every day in this prison on Casual Friday. But this is when the head truly meets the tinfoil.
Then it hit me. What if they're right? What if the same theft formula is being used against the American people?
I really wish Sesame Street was playing on the TV when he said that. Then the movie could have been about Big Bird being just like a gang member who pulls insurance scams and kills people in their homes. With enough time on his hands, he can finally learn all about the history of the Democratic Party. You'd think he'd already know this. Didn't he go to college? Isn't he a political commentator?
What if their plan is to steal America?
Don't worry, Dinesh. You got the Electoral College and Russia on your side. You'll be fine. Finally out of prison, he realizes just how Obama and Hillary have taken over all our lives.
But how are they doing this? How are they pulling it off? I got Obama right. Now I need to figure out Hillary.
Which is why Obama lost in 2012. It was because of Dinesh's movie. And as for Hillary, well, spoiler alert, she actually doesn't have very much to do with this movie. It's all about that Democratic Party secret, and in order to find out that secret, he goes into a movie set.
Are you a registered Democrat?
I'm from Mumbai.
Oh, very cool. Wow, that's a long way. Well, welcome.
Tell me, why do you volunteer here?
Well?
This is not the Democratic National Headquarters. That is an actress. This is not a documentary. Wait a minute, Lincoln was a Republican. What's that doing here? Leave it to Dinesh to break into the secret basement of the Democratic National Headquarters where they keep their shameful portrait of Andrew Jackson.
He massacred them, he burned their homes and villages, and in violation of treaties, he then sold that land at bargain basement prices.
Oh boy, is Dinesh gonna be mad when Trump gladly hangs up this portrait and boasts about his Andrew Jackson bromance. Just kidding. Dinesh doesn't give a shit about that. But the big secret that the title and the thesis of the movie hints is that, oh no, Democrats were the ones that embraced slavery. Wait, that's it? That's your big secret? I was taught that in grade school. And then I was taught it again in high school. It was in our history books. What the fuck? Oh, I get it. Dinesh is counting on the fact that his audience is uneducated. Oh, now I understand. God damn it, we at the Democratic Party headquarters have tried to keep our bloody slave collars a secret for years. I can't believe he snooked down there and found this, just sitting in a box.
You better think before you try to run. That's what'll happen to you boys if you try to run, you understand?
Phew, boy, am I glad Hillary didn't win. She would have stabbed a slave to death. Dinesh D'Souza is about as subtle as a burning cross.
What is it about Democratic presidents and innocent young women?
Oh, well, that's adorable. Dinesh D'Souza doesn't know the difference between consensual sex and slave rape. How in the hell is there a Mrs. D'Souza? I should probably give Dinesh a break. He hates sexual assaulters. I mean, unless they pardon him. Personally, I think all historical research should be done with Davy Crockett comic books. This movie is teaching me so much. Paradigm shifts don't exist, what was once in the past still is, which is really going to confuse Dinesh when he sees that today's red states voted against Lincoln and today's blue states voted for him. But hang up that Jackson portrait. It's okay for Dinesh's side to embrace that guy. Also, Democrats created the Wilhelm scream. This is the longest episode of Drunk History that I've ever seen.
Didn't some Republicans own slaves? Actually, no. No Republicans owned slaves.
Well, there were some that previously did own slaves before switching parties, and some were still very, very all about the white supremacy. But whatever. Yes, happy days are indeed here. Dinesh is here to stop slavery from happening again, which explains all of those Confederate flags present at Hillary rallies. Oh wait, that's a different rally. If Dinesh schools me any further, I may be able to finally pass kindergarten.
The Democrats don't want you to know about this civil rights movement because they fought against it.
That's another thing I was taught in school. Dinesh D'Souza is what a dumb person thinks a smart person is. Are we still at this fake headquarters?
Democrats today call themselves the party of social justice, but they fought to block the 14th Amendment that gave citizenship to blacks.
Coming up in future Dinesh movies, why Germany is still under Nazi control and why Australia is still a prison. It's really ballsy of him to take down Lincoln's picture and hang up Jackson's. He should try doing that in an actual place of business instead of staging it. And again, oh boy, is he gonna be mad when Trump and his supporters frequently fillet Jackson. I'm just kidding again. Dinesh is okay with today's Republicans celebrating the past racist Democrats. Now Dinesh talks to, I don't know who this is, but she was once a Democrat and now she isn't.
Some of it had to do with me learning more about the history of the Democratic Party and just watching how they use blacks for their agenda. The Democratic Party was a party of slavery.
Which means they still are. Oh shit, Democrats also created the Klan. That means in today's world, the Democrats still consist of the Klan. Shh, no one tell Dinesh that the former Grand Wizard did robocalls for Dinesh's hero. Or that today's Klan is probably a huge Dinesh fan. This is as big of a bombshell as water being wet.
Why has all this been swept under the rug?
To cover the tracks of the Democratic Party.
By swept under the rug, he means it's another thing that is included in history books. You know what else was hidden? Certain civil rights leaders who the news have been hiding from us simply because those leaders were Republican. Which is why no one knows who Frederick Douglass is. Who's that? You gotta love the integrity of a filmmaker who only cares about lynching so he can use them as a gotcha moment. Dinesh also gives the shocking revelation that gun control was created to stop freed slaves from getting guns. That way they could easily be murdered. So if you support gun control today, it isn't because of mass shootings or that you want background checks, it's that you hate black people. Boy, is he gonna be mad at Reagan for supporting the assault weapons ban. Why do you want to kill former slaves, Reagan? He also hates movie screenings too. Since Woodrow Wilson screened Birth of a Nation, that means all movie screenings are Birth of a Nation. The hell is with this screening anyway? It's like they're watching a fucking snuff film. Although I question Dinesh D'Souza as a person, there's one thing you can't take away from him, and that's that he gave us truly one of the most baffling scenes in movie history. Documentary. And thanks for adding narration to those title cards. It really helps those in his audience who can't read. I had no idea the Klan was created by a magical golden movie ticket.
Tens of thousands of Klansmen shouting racist slogans and burning crosses to celebrate the Democratic Party's refusal to condemn the KKK in their platform.
Hey Dinesh, why don't you clean up your own fucking house first? That one's in the present. But the real racists are Johnson and other Democrats who have been taking advantage of black people in order to get their votes. Contributions in the last 50 years doesn't really matter in this dojo. The Democrats were once the Klan. That means they're still the Klan. Here's Dinesh whenever someone brings up all the racist-ass alt-right shit that's taking over his party. La 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 la. Ooh, Trump's dick. But Strom Thurmond switching to the Republican Party was the exception and not the rule. Every far-right politician today is still like Abraham Lincoln.
The Democrats didn't switch from being the bad guys to the good guys. They simply found a new and bigger scam.
And that new scam forced today's Southern Republicans to support Confederate flag waving and statues of Confederate soldiers. This is a movie for self-hating Klansmen. Anyway, as Dinesh discovers stock footage, he also discovers why Democrats want to bring back plantations. Damn it, he's got us again!
So what has Obama done to get rid of the Democratic plantation? Nothing. That's because he's running it.
Obama expanded healthcare coverage for children. All Dinesh has done is... And that doesn't really matter, because in the past, some Democrats acted like gangsters.
They helped them out, found them a place to live, got them jobs.
Dinesh fans would have beat the shit out of them for not speaking English, so really, these gangsters are a step up. But please, someone needs to say what we're all thinking, that progressivism is exactly like fascism in a fictitious movie.
I knew exactly who I should see. Jonah Goldberg is an editor at the National Review.
Oh good, so an unbiased source. Guys, you didn't have to compare progressives to Nazis. All you had to say was that progressives suck because the show Here and Now is fucking terrible. Then I would have supported you. But instead, these two dicks try to take down Planned Parenthood by equating its founder to the Klan, the extermination of black people, and eugenics. Guess women's health care shouldn't exist then. Best put up these contextless and debunked anti-Planned Parenthood footage that were already exposed as highly edited. This is the kind of shit that causes an unstable jackass to shoot up or attempt to bomb a Planned Parenthood clinic and to harass their patients. But Dinesh doesn't really care about any of that because, gotcha! Clearly, Planned Parenthood's being located around low-income housing is because they want to commit genocide, not because that's where people need these services the most. Here, show a woman being forcibly sterilized, and then show Obama afterwards. That means they're the same thing. That's what the audience wants to see.
You remember the Life of Julia ad that the Obama administration put out? The creepiest sentence in modern American political history was when the Life of Julia ad says, "Under President Obama, Julia decides to have a child."
Which means Obama wants to forcibly sterilize people. Truly the biggest problem with the Julia campaign, there wasn't enough backstory.
Nowhere in this do you see Julia's family. There are no parents, there's no husband, there are no friends.
So she's a female Dinesh D'Souza? And go back to the Mafia. That was more interesting. Saul Alinsky plus mob equals mob Obama.
Alinsky was introduced to Frank Nitti, the number 2 operative in the Capone gang.
I'm listening. I knew it! Alinsky was a witness to a Chicago Mafia hit squad, which means Obama beats people to death with a baseball bat because Al Capone Alinsky. And just how did Obama get so good at speaking?
I am a man from Africa. In order to be a man from Africa, I must be strong.
Everyone in Dinesh's audience just shit their pants in fear.
From his father, young Obama learned how to pitch. From Alinsky, what to pitch. And out of the two came Obamacare.
Al Capone beating people up and Barack's dad being a good public speaker means healthcare, duh. And don't say that this movie doesn't have callbacks.
I remember talking with one guy who let his stomach tell him how to vote.
That guy doesn't really exist. And then Hillary showed up to whisper bad advice in his ear like an evil angel, and then bought him a steak dinner and paid for it to get his vote. What kind of steak place is this? Let's get to the bottom of this dastardly, totally real situation.
But she's the youngest female candidate. So, do we have your support?
Us, it's an issue of social justice. It's all about us.
This is not an actual Hillary headquarters. Those are actors. This is not a documentary. Oh boy, another secret basement. I bet this time he's gonna find a cabinet of dead babies.
Pepe Sylvia, this name keeps coming up over and over again. Every day, Pepe's mail's getting sent back to me. Pepe Sylvia, Pepe Sylvia. I look in the mail, well, this whole box is Pepe Sylvia!
Oh, and the movie's finally about Hillary now. Might as well add that to the plot. Not like it's the title or anything. And you can count on Dinesh to give a real nuanced portrait of Hillary Clinton.
American policy since then has been to scrupulously respect neutrality of the Cambodian people.
That's real smart. Mm-hmm.
Here's how Dinesh portrays people he doesn't like. Duh, I'm a big old stupid head. One for Hillary's America. Okay, maybe not that last part. She's not the only one portrayed like a cartoon.
We've got to push from the outside.
Unless we take over the government.
And then she met George Steinbrenner from Seinfeld. It was then that Hillary knew the only way she could make it to the White House was by knowing in advance that Bill Clinton would one day be president.
And if her husband's a sex abuser, how's that her fault? Actually, it is. In many ways, she orchestrated all of this.
Anyway, check out my next movie where I praise the guy who pays off porn stars and brags about sexual assault like one brags about bowling trophies. Dinesh really hates sexual assault. Sometimes.
Is Hillary really capable of enabling a rapist?
You are. Sure, you could look into all these cases individually, or get the full backstory on these subjects, or the actual truth and context about Hillary Clinton laughing at a rape victim. I mean, why bother looking any of that shit up? Dinesh didn't. All this movie wants to do is portray its enemies like a sitcom antagonist.
As for their famous showdowns, Hillary isn't mad at Bill for what he did. She's mad at him for getting caught.
Ooh, that Bill's gonna get it now! Is this movie getting close to a point?
But they're not robbing banks. They're stealing America.
What does that mean? That doesn't mean anything, you vague piece of shit! Dinesh D'Souza just doesn't like people who have more sex than he does. Bill Clinton's had more sex than 10 John Holmes. Dinesh D'Souza got dumped by Ann Coulter. Really, if you take away all the unsubstantiated claims, all we're given here is a montage of the Clintons doing better things in their lives than Dinesh has ever done. But oh no, they have speaking fees. This whole second act is a series of claims Dinesh has no evidence for. It sounds really, really scary with the creepy music playing. Even senile old William Peter Blatty must have thought the hologram Klansman was real. I know I'm about to have a heart attack.
Putting America at considerable risk.
I don't think Dinesh is gonna have a problem with this in his new movie. If Dinesh had as much talent as a filmmaker as he has zingers, he'd still be an asshole.
Now we know why Hillary ignored those emergency calls for help from Benghazi. She couldn't figure out how to make a buck off of them.
You don't actually care about any of that. Damn, if only the victims of Benghazi paid off Al Capone. Also, Hillary controls earthquakes and controls the Haitian government and is at fault for everything the Haitian government does.
Now we know who Hillary Clinton really is.
No, we don't. You just spouted off a bunch of contextless bullshit. This movie is as insightful as a sheet of paper with the words doo-doo head written on it in crayon. All this movie is this.
They are the ones who are to blame. In addition to Indian removal and slavery, the Democrats are also the party of the black codes, segregation.
No, you're a racist! Dinesh D'Souza, a series of stupid questions that he never actually answers.
Imagine how much worse things could get if these two depraved crooks returned to the White House.
I don't know. Both sides Gary says that Hillary is just as bad and all politicians are the same. Granted, both sides Gary is a straight white entitled dipshit whose only bad day is the day that Starbucks fucked up his unicorn frappuccino. They did fuck up both sides of both sides Gary's Frappuccino. It's a good thing Hillary wasn't elected, because then the Revolutionary War would have happened again.
Ida B. Wells believed that God had blessed America. She'd fought her whole life for freedom.
Ida B. Wells would call you a no-business, born insecure, junkyard motherfucker. I don't know this for sure, but that means Dinesh would approve of my research. The key word here is sometimes. Sometimes Dinesh has morals.
They can't take America from us without our consent. Because of my conviction, I can't vote.
Otherwise, I'd vote for the guy who doesn't know what consent is. Why is this movie still going? Anyone with a brain in their head would have left this shit halfway through, and anyone without a brain would yell at them for it online.
What's so proudly we held at the...
Stop abusing children, Dinesh. Here, let me sum up the last couple of minutes for you. America. And that does it for... Okay, there's still a lot more time in that montage left. Seriously, that montage is longer than the amount of time that America has been around. If you like this movie, you have a micro dick. It doesn't even know how end credits work. The actors go on the other side, unless the role of Robert Gordon was played by actor Union Boss. Wait a minute, Dinesh needed an actress to play his daughter? I knew no one would really cry about him going to jail. This movie isn't bad because it's conservative, much in the same way God's Not Dead isn't bad because it's Christian. Both movies only exist to stir up hatred in an unstable fan base. This is not a movie about conservatism or conservative ideologies or a different way to lead our country. It's just a 100-minute attack ad. There's not a single rational thought in the movie's empty head. It's a movie for old racists to go to so that they can say to the person next to them, "See, I'm not a racist." This movie isn't even good propaganda. Terms like badly acted, badly shot, and badly written shouldn't be applied to something that calls itself a documentary. It doesn't really matter if this movie said anything right. That's like someone on Twitter who uses this fucking emoji in between all their words. You could be saying 2 + 2 = 4, and I still wouldn't have your back because you're a condescending fucking douchebag. On the plus side, it's one of the few times the Razzies got something right when it got Worst Picture of the Year, but never mind that. I think Dinesh wrote the movie's IMDb trivia, as it boasts that it made more money than Michael Moore's recent documentary. Oh, a movie in 1,200 theaters made more money than a movie in 300 theaters? I'm shocked. Must mean that A Medea Halloween is a better movie than Moonlight. It made more money. And coming this weekend, we get to see exactly how Donald Trump is just like Abraham Lincoln. As a resident of Springfield, Illinois, I am intrigued by this concept. I hope it means that both Donald Trump and Abraham Lincoln acted in shitty Bo Derek movies.
So what are you in for?
Get him a bar fight. And I set him on fire.
Sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/stonedgremlinproductions. Follow us on Twitter at The Cinema Snob, or check out our homepage at thecinemasnob.com.